Alright followers, welcome back. So as promised today, I said I would give you guys a tour of my kayak as I got it ready to go out on the water. Virginia is finally starting to thaw out from this polar vortex, so I'm hoping that Puxatawny Phil was right and spring's coming, because that means I'm about to get back out on the water. Don't have any cold weather gear, which is why I don't fish the kayak in the winter. I do a lot of bank fishing, creeks, things like that. But unfortunately this winter I haven't had a whole lot of time, so hopefully we'll get some more time soon. So let's start out by saying, if you haven't watched my previous videos, go check them out. I'll link all of them in the description below. I have one on actually building a dry box for a battery for a fish finder, wiring a fish finder for quick connect adapters. I also have one on mounting a fish finder to my kayak. Sorry, I keep looking down because I have my transducer sitting at my feet. I don't want my chair legs hitting it and breaking it before I even get to use it. So, and then obviously mounting the fish finder. So, it's not even morning and I'm still drinking coffee. So we're going to get started. I have an Ascend 10T kayak that I'm going to show you guys and all the modifications that I've done to it thus far. All of the things that I like about it, all of the things that I don't like about it. Things that I would do differently. This is kind of a tour and a commentary pro-con video about my gear. So let's get started. Alright guys, so let's get started here at the front of the kayak. As you can see, my wife's car in the shot today. Can't really hide that. So 10 foot, it sits in my garage when I'm not using it, so I have a little bit of a tight space in here. The first thing is I just have standard Walmart crate. Don't have anything mounted to it. It's mostly just for storage and stuff like that. So I have a 30-foot rope with a 5-pound anchor in there, chained off. You'll see the zip tie. It's actually reverse mounted in case I get it stuck to anything. Normally this sits the other way, but I have it sitting like this for right now. I also have in here, I have my dry box. If you didn't see that video, go check it out. It's in the descriptions. And I keep various other things. It's mostly a catch-all. Just throw it in the, if I need it during the thing, I throw it in here. If I might need it, throw it in here. It really just becomes, kind of a trash box by the end of the trip. I also have some bug spray and some sunscreen. I learned that my first trip out. Legs and feet burn in the sun. Who'd have thought? I never knew that. Anyway, so moving on, you can see the top of my paddle right here. It's just an Ascend. It's I believe a 184-inch paddle. I'm 6'3", so I have the largest paddle that Ascend makes. I bought it at the same time I bought the kayak. This also has the, it's going to be a little bumpy because I'm going to have to carry this around. So it's got a single pull handle up front, bay in the front that my box is sitting in. It's got 4 mounting points. Let me actually disconnect this battery so that I can pull this out for you. Alright. So, front of this actually has 4 strap down points. Haven't used them yet. That's going to be in a future build out. I'm going to get some way to strap this in, reverse mount the box so that it sits the other way. I'm probably going to put a kayak cleat or one of the Scotty kayak clamps on the front for my anchor so that I can anchor a lot easier. All right, moving on. Center deck, you'll see sitting here, I have my transducer on a Scotty arm. You're headed out to the bottom, sitting on the floor right now. So we're actually going to lift this up a little bit so that it's not sitting on the cold floor, and hopefully I don't hit it with the wheels. So transducer line goes out, and then I have my Garmin Striker 4 CV mounted right here on a universal base plate, and then an adapter to the track. Okay. So that's one of the first things that I noticed about this kayak was, and that's actually what brought me to buy it, was the center console piece. So the price range that I had, this one was about $650. I like this center console with the center track. I had plans of putting a fish finder on there and a couple other pieces. You just saw me take off my bait board. It doesn't come with any of this equipment except for the tracks. I have the 2 footrests. They can be good. I keep them fairly far extended out because normally in the summers and in the spring I fish without shoes on. Probably not a good idea, but I do. And they're actually quite uncomfortable to lean up against for very long periods of time. So sometimes I'll throw my flip-flops up along them and lean up on those. So let's see. Moving on, I have the scupper holes. There's 6 of them total in this kayak. 4 in the front, right by your legs, and then 2 in the back. The 2 in the back are actually connected with bungee. I guess they'd be bungee straps. Kind of looks like telephone line with clips on them. So, so I have my fish finder set up. This is a little dry box, and when I say little, I mean little. I can't even fit my phone in it. So, fit my wallet, my keys. I try to keep non-essential stuff, or non-essential, so when I'm actually out fishing in here. And I don't take a whole lot with me. If I don't need it, I leave it in the car. So over here, you'll see I have another track. I have the same one on the other side. Currently, I have a Railblazer fishing rod mount to it. I run a primary fishing rod, and then I have two built-in holes in the back that I can run 2 additional fishing rods out of. Like I said before, I'm 6'3". When I sit in this, it's a little, it can be a little cramped. I actually haven't taken it out with all of this extra stuff on it, so I may do a follow-up video somewhere down the road showing exactly what it is that I modified on here. Already looking at the configuration, I might move my Garmin out to the side, right up here in the front of the transducer. That way it's not in the center, and you'll see when I put the Scotty bait board back on that it kind of interferes. But one of the major problems that I've experienced thus far is the seat sits so low that I like to move my legs around in this area, and having a bunch of stuff down the center just isn't working for me. So, so like I said, Railblazer pole mount on the side. Doesn't offer a lot of options. I can go 90 degrees to the hull. Here, you guys can't even see that. So I can go 90 degrees to the hull, or I can tip it at like a 45-degree angle out. Those are about my only 2 options, so I'm not really pleased with the Railblazer kit. There's not a whole lot of, I guess, options in settings. So, and that's the other thing. With that being there, my leg actually sits up against it, and not really too pleased with that. It can be uncomfortable to have my knee sitting right up against it, which is why it's pushed so far forward, so that hopefully it hits me at the lower calf. All right, moving back. Actually, before we move back, my pride and joy. This was a Christmas present from the wife. This is actually 3 separate pieces. So you have the bait board itself up here, which is 1 piece. You have the arm, the extending, retracting, universal arm, and then you have the actual Scotty mount down here. All right, so this sits just like this in there. All right, so this is what I'll tell you, and this is a secret I learned. And if you watched my fish finder mount video, I let this secret out. So this did not come with the slip discs. All right, if you're going to buy this arm, get the slip discs. So what Scotty has is about 1/8" teeth that mount together, and when you mount them together, they lock in place. However, to move this, you have to actually unscrew this quite a bit to get these teeth to separate to be able to shift it, and you're making 1/8 inch shifts. So what I found when I mounted this is that I couldn't get the board where I wanted it to. Was kind of upset at Scotty. I was like, wow, this is a really crappy idea. Doesn't really give you a whole lot of dexterity. So when I got my fish finder mount, it came with the slip discs. And when I put these on, I realized that they could be used here too. So I just went out on Amazon. I bought 2 more sets of slip discs. They're about $5-6 a piece. And what this does is it gives you the finite movement. So when you unscrew this, I mean, you can set it just about anywhere. I mean, you can really rotate it, really finesse, and then clamp it back down, and it holds. Now, I haven't tested the weight that it'll hold before it slips, but I mean, these are hard plastic, so they're really not going to slip against each other. And my thought process is if I get them out there and they start slipping, I'll just bring it back after the trip and take a piece of sandpaper or a file to them and scuff them up, make them abrasive, and then they should hold pretty well. But thus far, I mean, hand weight seems to hold just fine. So, like I said earlier, I may move my GPS or my fish finder because the way I mount my, and you guys probably can't see this because it's, so where I have my fish finder, when I put my bait board in there, this locked into place, but it won't sit in the center. It's going to hit the fish finder, okay? So I actually have it tilted off to the side. And then the bait board sits on top of it. All right, so my fish finder sits down below it. I'm leaving it like this right now because I'm thinking that maybe when I'm out in the the sun during the day, this will provide some shade over the fish finder and allow me to see the screen a little bit better. But the cool thing about Scotty products is that they're really easy to disconnect and move out of the way. So even when I'm out on the water, if I need to, I literally lift this up, unscrew this, and my fish finder's moved. Okay, now I can move my bait board. Back to center. Back to center. So if I don't like it up this high, this is where the slit discs come into play. I can literally tip it any way I want. All right, and I got 2 pivot points here, so I can really drop it down to be lower if I want it to be lower, higher if I want it to be higher. That's the nice thing about this arm, and that's what drew me to it. So I haven't figured out what my configuration is going to be. I'll probably put it finalize it once I get it out onto the water and I start, feeling my way around and seeing what works for me. But I can tell you that that Railblazer is probably going to go pretty soon. So, moving further back, lift you up over the transducer, we have the seat. The seat I've slightly modified just for comfort purposes. So, it comes just like this, minus the orange foam. For those of you that can't tell, my favorite color is orange. I try to do everything in orange. Except the Kayak. I wanted it in green. So this folds down. It removes itself from the actual Kayak, so I can pull this off if I need to. Someday I'm going to get rooftop mounts, so this will obviously need to come off. Sits in, there's no channels, but it's got 4 little legs. It sits in these 2, there's 3 grooves right here with a little nut. It sits down inside that, which keeps it from going back and forth. And then it sits on its 4 little legs. So I added this foam on the back and then right here on the sides. There's actually supposed to be one on that side. I'm not exactly sure where it went. It might be underneath. And that holds me over for about 4 hours. After that, this starts to rub on me, this strap. So that's what this foam is for, is to rub up against my leg, rather than feeling this pull. So, and then I added a seat pad just for additional cushioning, sit me up a little bit higher. That is one of the things that I don't like about this Kayak right now, is that I can't stand up in it. It's a 10-foot Kayak. It's 325-pound maximum with 1 person, and truth be told, I'm pushing the maximum of this weight limit. So it does wobble a little bit when I get it in the water, and it does sit fairly low to the water. I keep the scupper plugs in at all times when I'm in the water, hopefully to keep as much out as possible. So go ahead and take the, I'm not sure how those ended up over it, but take my paddle out. And I do have a paddle leash, as you can see right here. It's a little cheap $5 body glove paddle leash, clips to the bottom of my seat, so I don't lose my paddle. And actually, I purchased that after I put this piece on right here. So this is actually a paddle mount to be able to mount your paddle to. I thought it was going to be a good investment. It was like $5-6 from Bass Pro Shop. Probably going to take it off because it actually doesn't clip my paddle very well because I have sticky tape on there. One thing I did notice the first time I took it out was my paddle is very slick when I hold it, when my hands get wet. So I put the athletic sticky tape on there so that I can have a better grip. And because I did that, it doesn't sit inside this receiver very well. And actually, truth be told, this gets in the way when I'm paddling. So I have this weird hand paddle thing going on. So moving on, in the back I have my 2 rear scupper plugs back here. Like I said, those are attached so that I don't accidentally lose them. I'm putting in another order. I think I got these on Amazon 12 pack for I think it was like $12-13. We'll put in some more, an order for some more of those, and put the other 4 scupper plugs on them. It just ensures that I don't accidentally lose them. I can pull them out and just throw them on the deck and not have to worry about them getting washed overboard or, you know, thrown overboard or anything like that. So I have my tackle box, which I carry with me. I take the whole thing with me. Normally it sits up front. Like I said before, I haven't had a lot of this gear on here, so I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it yet. But it will be probably moved up front. In the rear, I have my 2 fishing pole mounts, and one on this side and one on that side. Normally, when I'm underway, initially I launch. Both my poles are in the back. I only ever carry 2 poles with me. I haven't had a need to have more than 2 poles, so I just keep them back here as I get to where I want. And once I get into my position and I anchor out, I move one of them up. Normally, I move this side, so this will be my primary, and then that'll be my secondary. And the reason for that is when I put my kayak at anchor and I put my paddle down, it usually sits right through here, and then the back end sits here, and it sits up against this, and it just kind of sits there. That way, it's kind of out of the way. I fish off the right-hand side of the kayak for the most part, because I'm a right-handed caster, so I fish off the right-hand side. As you can see, most of my stuff is mounted on the left. But they come in handy. I like them. I also have 2 little trays here in the back that I haven't had use for yet. They just kind of collect junk and garbage as I'm fishing. Then you'll see in the further back I have my Yeti bucket. I got it for Christmas. I actually haven't taken it out yet. So thus far, I keep my fishing net in here, which I also have on a loop so that I can attach it. And then I keep my minnow bucket in here with its little thing attached to another one. So if I choose to fish minnow, I have a minnow bucket. If not, I just take it out beforehand. Most of the time I don't fish minnow, mostly because I'm impatient and I don't want to catch my minnow ahead of time. And the closest bait store for me is actually a couple exits down the highway, so I'd have to go the night before and get minnow. In the back, same as in the front, I have 4 tie-down points ribbed in the back to keep stuff up off of the actual deck. That way if there's a little bit of water, things aren't getting soaking wet. In the rear, you'll also see I have a handle back there, and then I have actually a valve port that allows me to drain the inside of the kayak if I need to. Haven't had to do that yet, but let's hope I don't ever have to do it. But it's there if I need it. So that is my kayak from tip to tail. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Fairly responsive in responding to comments. So thanks for tuning in. That was the tour of my kayak and what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what I've done to modify it, and hopefully a few of my future projects. I think my primary focus project is going to be getting it back out onto the water. It's been a long winter without fishing. Like I said at the beginning, I don't have cold weather gear to fish in, so it makes it difficult to take this out when the water temperature is cold. Because I don't like hypothermia. If you like hypothermia, let me know in the comments, because I don't know very many people that do. But whatever. So if you like my videos, hit subscribe. I'd love to have more subscribers. Make sure you hit the bell so that you get notified when I put up new videos. Coming up soon, I think I'm going to do a fishing video. I'm pretty sure you guys think that I just do how-to videos, but that's not true. I actually do fish. The last time I went fishing was about 6 or 7 weeks ago. Been very busy lately, so I haven't had an opportunity to get out. But as I said earlier, it's starting to warm up, so hopefully I'll get out and do some more fishing. I got all my winter modifications done. I'm going to give the kayak a good cleaning, get it situated, and then first warm day, I'm going to hit the water, and I'll definitely take you guys with me. So you'll see. Might go through my tackle, let you guys know what I'm fishing with, show you my fishing poles, what my favorites are, why I like them, what I use them for, and then also what my tackle is. Not much of a live fisher, so I don't fish live bait very often. Occasionally I'll drop worms if I'm bank fishing or something, especially if I have the kids out there with me. Worms seem to be what they prefer to fish with, and it allows me to actually fish, because I don't like snagging jerk baits and crankbaits off of logs and twigs that they get stuck on. So, but it's all coming down the pipe. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer anything you got. See you soon. Happy casting.